Welcome guys, Epic Slayers here. Today we look at Black Ops 4 and whether it's worth your hard-earned cash. Now the best way to measure this is very simple. Are you having fun? Now it's pretty obvious really, but sometimes we can get caught up in all the technical, sometimes unnecessary problems with the game and forget whether we are simply having enough fun to spend money. Now I'll be looking at both the pros and cons of Black Ops 4, but these will be issues that directly influence whether I'm having fun or not. And I must also stress that I will be making comparisons to other COD titles, but I am judging this game as a standalone title rather than telling you whether it's better or worse than, say, Black Ops 3. With all of that said, let's get into this. It's very apparent when you boot up Black Ops 4 that it's similar to Black Ops 3, and that's not to say it's a bad thing, as I think we would all universally agree that Black Ops 3 was a great Call of Duty title. But when you start progressing through the levels, getting the new weapons, the new perks and skills, you start to realise just how similar this game is to Black Ops 3 and numerous games before it. And I can't help but feel that Treyarch have been really lazy here, taking parts from Black Ops 3, Overwatch and with Blackout coming at launch, PUBG. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing as all three of these games are highly successful for a reason, but I would like to have seen more innovation. Unfortunately, because the game is 70% or more taken from other games, I do feel that once the dust has settled, the game will become boring because we've seen it all before. The most talked about difference with Black Ops 4 compared to its predecessors is the time to kill. What would have taken you 3 to 5 body shots in previous versions of Call of Duty will now take you 8 to 9 body shots to down someone. Treyarch has said they wanted to create a much wider skill gap in Black Ops 4, rewarding players for consistently hitting headshots rather than body shots. Gone are the days of see first, die first, and instead, Black Ops 4 allows players to dip in and out of combat, making engagements far more drawn out. So, does this make the game more or less fun is the question. For me, I think it makes the game less fun for numerous reasons. Firstly, the higher time to kill encourages team shooting, meaning if you get into an engagement with 2 or more people at once, you have to be extremely lucky or skilled to take one of those with you as you fall. Flanking behind a team and running up on 4 enemy players who have no idea you're there before taking them down one by one has always been one of the most satisfying things to do in Call of Duty, and this was possible because of the low time to kill. Now you'll be lucky to kill one person before they all turn around, and that's the end of you. The main issue with the increased time to kill is that it doesn't feel like a casual experience, but more like a competitive sweat fest, and that's not my idea of fun. I don't want to have to chug 2 litres of G Fuel and change into my Optic gaming jersey before attempting to play multiplayer. The higher time to kill is clearly an attempt to make multiplayer feel more competitive and less casual, and that's just not something I'm going to enjoy. The way they can fix this is by reducing the time to kill and instead having a dedicated competitive playlist where they can have a higher time to kill. That way the majority of people who play casually can without being forced to change clothes after every match. Before we leave the topic of time to kill, what's the one thing that Treyarch have always struggled with and has plagued the Black Ops series since day one? Hit detection. Surely the higher time to kill is going to just show how bad their hit detection really is, and as a side note, the higher time to kill favours those who have much better internet than others. Okay, so what about score streaks? Treyarch have always gave us powerful score streaks that are fun and chaotic in many ways. Let's look at Black Ops 3 for example. The Lodestar, the Swarm, the Orbital VSAT, the Warthog, all amazing powerful score streaks. Now I've used or been on the end of every score streak in the game, and unfortunately even after the most recent buff to almost every score streak following week 1 of the beta, they still feel a little weak and could perhaps do with another pass. The care package seems to take an age to come in, the strike team needs more than 2 members to be effective, and you get the picture. On top of that, the score streaks take far too much score to earn, meaning if you don't have an IV of G Fuel going straight into the vein, you're probably going to find it very difficult to even get a UAV. I mean, a damn UAV. The point of score streaks instead of kill streaks was to reward people for playing the objective. Capture points in domination, for example, and I totally get that, but what happens when you play a mode that sole purpose is to kill people, i.e. team deathmatch? It will take you 6 kills in TDM to earn the UAV with a score of 550. 6 kills. 6 kills. Why do you have to be some sort of Marker J Scumpy hybrid to even get a UAV? Now I'm not a bad player and can get UAVs regularly within most game modes, but I have to sweat my ass off if I want to sort of get a lethal score streak, and those are the most fun to use. This is another example of Treyarch pushing Black Ops 4 towards a more competitive game rather than appealing to the masses, who are predominantly casual players. Treyarch has to reduce the cost of each score streak, otherwise the vast majority of the community will never get to use 50% of them and simply quit playing. So Time to Kill and Scorestreaks needs changing, otherwise you better pre-order some MLG Headshot Pro clothing that's going to turn you into the next COD Pro. So what's next? Let's take a look at specialists. Now I played with every specialist apart from 1 or 2, so I have a good grasp on them. In Black Ops 4 you can only have 1 type of specialist per team, per match, unless you play Chaos TDM, where you can have 2. Now does that sound familiar to you? Overwatch anyone? I mean, it kind of makes sense when you think about how Treyarch wants to make Black Ops 4 a competitive experience for all, and you'll be glad there is only 1 per team of some specialists. Take the specialist Torque for example. This guy has barbed wire which he can put down to block doorways for example. If you walk into the barbed wire it does damage and it can easily kill you. His specialist ability is a ballistic shield with a head glitch. Not just that, this thing also emits radiation from the front, so if you run into its path, it will kill you. Imagine if you run into a squad on TDM all running this specialist and just camp in a room. Now some specialists need to be buffed. For example, the Nomad K9 unit is far too weak and I don't think it should show up on enemy radar maps either. Now I can make a whole video on specialists, but I don't want this to go on for too long. The specialists in general are fun to use, but as I've said before, don't expect anything new here. They are mainly recycled specialists from Black Ops 3. So we've looked at Time to Kill, Scorestreaks and Specialist. What else can make a COD game fun? How about maps? There are 6 maps in the beta with a further 12 maps behind a paywall when the game is released. I have no knowledge on level design and I do not know how technically good they are, but from playing them all, I'd have to say they are just okay. No map stands out to me as being really solid. I would say that all maps have a variation of short and long range engagements, meaning you can use any gun really and do well on any map. There isn't a lot to say about the weapons in Black Ops 4 either, as they're almost identical to weapons from Black Ops 3, apart from a few exceptions. To give you an example, the ICR-7 assault rifle, which is basically the ICR from Black Ops 3, the KN-57, which is exactly the same as the KN-54, the Spitfire SMG is very similar in looks and SMG archetype as a vector, and the list could go on. Nothing special here and nothing new. Are the weapons fun to use? Not really, because they are reskins of weapons we've already used before. Aside from all of that, how does it feel playing Black Ops 4? Do I want to keep playing it, and am I enjoying it? Right now, kinda, and that's not good. I want to be in love with this game. I want to have that urge to stay up way into the early hours like I did with COD World at War. I want to have devastating score streaks like we had in Black Ops 3. This game had the Stealth Chopper, the Orbital VSAT, the Escort Drone, the Warthog, the Lodestar, the VTOL Warship, the K9 unit, and the Swarm. There is nothing like this in Black Ops 4, and that's what makes COD fun. If you want to take a 1000mg dose of G Fuel and sweat like you've been doing push-ups on the sun, this game is for you and you will enjoy it. If you don't, and I would guess that's the vast majority of people, you might have fun for a couple of hours, but it won't be long before you either get bored or throw your controller at the TV after shooting someone 1000 times only to hurt them before they re-challenge after getting full health from stim shot, but this time with their mate beside them. This happens a lot, unfortunately. If I had to measure the fun in this game on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 4. I think this game is on the cusp of being okay to play, but I just can't see myself playing this game for very long before I get really bored. I don't have the time to dedicate my entire existence to becoming an MLG pro player, and for that, I won't be able to enjoy the game. Thanks very much if you made it to the end of this video. I appreciate this isn't a game I'd normally cover on my channel, and I don't think it will be unless the blackout mode can save it. It does appear that Treyarch could put all their eggs in one basket this year. Until the next video, Epic out.